Hello, you lovelies. Welcome to the last hot and hotline heavy episode of 2022. This is KoiCast. I'm Koi Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and hotline calls from people. You guys tend to send in some greatness. I'm excited for the last one of the year. I am joined, as ever, by the illustrious Jake Lloyd Bacon. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. The holidays are here.
It feels good, man. I like the holidays a lot.
I love the holidays. They happen too quickly.
They do. And next week, if I still have a voice, we record all these at once. We're going to do a brief holiday episode of just talking about the holidays.
I think maybe next week, we're going to tell you right now, there's no episode of KoiCast next week. But there might be an episode of... let's shoot the shit for a minute.
Yeah, it won't be KoiCast. It might be the mics are on.
KoiCast, shoot the shit for a minute.
It's Jake and Koi had a talk and they turned on microphones.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how my voice is because we, as discussed last week, I did not let my foot off the gas this year after I'd say 11 months of telling myself to let my foot off the gas, and I am breaking. But this week is hot and hotline heavy, and you guys have been incredible all year. Holidays do fly on by, and I'm sure there's some good holiday merriment in these hotline calls. Do you want to just get right into it? We crowned a new gift horse last week.
Yes. I suppose we should pay homage to the current gift horse of the month, James Martinez. James Martinez, the December unpunchable gift horse of the month, our holiday gift horse.
Yep, freshly crowned. We just wanted to give them love at the top. But let's get in the hotline calls. Make sure we get to everybody this week.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, it's Robin from LA. I don't really have a question, and I'm sure you guys are going to get a lot of end-of-year calls, so feel free to skip this if you want. But I saw Banshees of Inisherin a couple weeks ago. I think I said that name right, and I absolutely loved it. And I don't want to give anything away in case anybody else wants to see it, but of all the feels it made me feel, and there were a lot, it mostly made me want a pet donkey. That donkey was great. And then, ironically, I think like a day or two after I saw it, I saw Koi posted a video that he had a pet goat when he was a kid. And honestly, I'm calling just because I want stories of the goat. So if you could give me some stories of your goat that you had in the mountains of Boston, that'd be great. Have a good holiday, guys.
I love this question because, yeah, I guess it's not normal to have a goat.
What? He's talking about you posted photos of you with a goat. And you're like, that was our pet goat.
Yeah, I had a pet. So I was talking to my friends, and we were just talking about our childhood, and I mentioned Chewbacca, and they were like, what's Chewbacca? They thought it was like a cat or something. I was like, oh, I had this little miniature goat that lived in the house, wore a diaper. He had to cut little tail out of the diaper because he had little, goat pebbles falling all over the house. We had him in the house with the diaper. And apparently having a miniature goat in your house is not normal. So I learned, you know those moments when you're having a conversation and suddenly you're the weird one? This was due to Chewbacca, my goat, but he came in.
Is it a pygmy goat?
Yeah.
That's what they're called?
Very cute.
Pygmy goat.
Very cute. And he had little tiny horns. He liked to nuzzle his head. So we raised Manx cats on the mountain I grew up on. And Manx cats they have a little higher butts and they have no tails and they're hypoallergenic. Right. Okay. So we would like raise them and like give them to people in, the city that couldn't have cats that wanted them because we just loved raising cats. But the cats loved this goat because they all like head nuzzled each other. Like they did head rub bub. So I brought him into show and tell, and the pictures came from me bringing him into show and tell in kindergarten. And like he would dance, he'd get up on his hind legs and like, dance about. And it was just me being a little kindergartner with my pet goat, Chewy.
Was he named Chewy because of the sounds?
Because he would chew everything.
Oh,
so we thought it was funny. Chewbacca came from him chewing everything.
All right, it would have been better if it was what I said.
I mean, I'm sorry he didn't. I'm sorry my goat didn't live up to your standards. But he's adorable.
It is odd. I will say I looked it up, and apparently they're not unpopular to have a pygmy goat.
I didn't know that was weird.
They're not unpopular, but it's still not normal.
I mean, it's not like a hamster.
It's only like weird Boston mountain people.
I mean,
or like Massachusetts mountain people that probably have them.
Jake refers to me as the mountains of Boston because you guys, if you heard the episode with my family a few months back, my family is from very deep south, North Carolina border of Virginia. And I grew up literally on a mountain where everyone in my family was on this one mountain. So cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. I lived within, I'd say, a mile of upwards of 20 members of my family.
Go back to Elaborate throughout the archives of my podcast, Elaborate, and listen to the episode I did with Koi.
Before we knew each other. Really.
Years ago. Well, before we like really knew each other.
Right.
Yeah. Where we got to know each other. And that was where the like, oh, you're, in fact, I think I named that episode
Mountains of Boston.
Mountains of Boston or something like that, because it was just,
what?
I was like, I don't understand. These two things don't go together.
And that's the duality of my life is like, I realized that my very friendly from the Southness meets my resting Boston face. It confuses people. And sometimes that means you got a pet goat.
That's really weird. We had slightly less bizarre, not as rare animals, but we were still a weird pet family because we were the ferret house.
I had a ferret too, named Oblio.
Oh, I had a lot more than one ferret.
Oh, I had one. There's very smelly.
We had the ferret house. My brother had 2. I had 4.
What? Dude, the smells.
Always had. They're not that bad if you just aren't a dirty person.
I mean, the ferret was the dirty person.
No, my ferrets were pretty. We were pretty clean ferrets.
All right, I didn't know that was a thing. I always think of ferrets as having a musk.
Well, they're just the sort of thing that you just like. You have to give them baths more regularly than you would a cat or a dog, of course. But but they weren't too bad. I mean, they were probably worse when I was younger and not as responsible.
See, I was a kid. I was in first grade with my ferret.
I had them all the way up until I moved out of New York.
Whoa!
And it was still heartbreaking to me. So the last 2 ferrets I had were named Chiquito and Gizmo.
Love this.
And they were still kids. They were still pretty young when I decided to leave New York. And I was like, well, I can't just bring ferrets with me across the country. So I decided to I found a family who and they were so cute. They were siblings. They were a little girl and boy. But I had. It started with my brother's first ferret, which was Chiquita. He's the OG. Chiquita, Spanky. I had White Fang, who was literally just like an albino ferret who bit the shit out of everybody. He was not like the least friendly ferret ever. He was just like, come here, I'll fucking bite you. And I was the only one who could hold him and play with him. And he was like albino with red eyes. And
they're so intense.
Everybody in the neighborhood was afraid of him.
They look intense, the albino ones. They're normally ferrets are wicked friendly though.
Oh, they are. He was just a weird old, and I got him when he was kind of old. I think I got him when he was like a family that didn't want the ferret anymore. And my mother was like, all right, we can adopt this.
They're like living slinkies. They're fascinating little creatures.
They're
so fast.
I'll show you photos of young me with them just sleeping all over me.
They're the best, dude.
They were just so cuddly all the time.
Furry snakes.
Yeah, who else we had? Oh, so then I named Chiquita after Chiquito.
Nice.
Coco was a real sweetheart. And, listen, they all had their own little personality. Respect. And, I don't know. I was never allowed to have a dog as a kid. And so I was like, well, I want a pet. And so I just had a ton of goddamn ferrets.
You made up for it in numbers.
Oh, yeah. We were
and we were like 6 ferrets.
And I was like the ferret guy. I had other friends who had ferrets because they weren't, they had a little moment in the sun.
Yeah, I remember
in the 90s. Yeah, in the 90s. And especially on Long Island. But it was I knew 2 other people who had one.
Right. You had an army. You had a half dozen ferrets.
And every time, and I would always get more. If someone passed away. But they lived for a while too. They weren't they're not having a hamster. They're not they live.
I think the weirdest pet I ever had was a red squirrel that fell into our chimney. And
like a wild squirrel that you were well, we
nursed it back to health. When we let it go in time.
Right.
So it wasn't we weren't monsters.
We did that as well.
But did you have?
Yeah, my neighbor growing up, it was one of those weird things where we always did joke that he had spidey sense.
Yeah.
Because there was this big tree. I don't know what kind of tree it was. It was sort of maple or something. This big tree in the front yard. And there was one day where we were just outside, under the tree talking or whatever, knocking about. And he just puts his shirt out. Imagine grabbing, I'm trying to visualize this for the listeners. Imagine grabbing the bottom seam of your shirt that you're wearing and putting it out to make a little trampoline. He looked up and then at the same time did that, and a baby squirrel had fallen out of the tree and landed in his shirt.
That's spider sense.
It was right.
That's surreal.
I'm he just says he looked up and saw it, and it was the only thing he could think to do, which is crazy because my thing would be to get out of the way because how do you process that incredible. It's an innocent baby squirrel versus
something falling on
something attacking you from
above?
That's
incredible.
And
good instincts.
And we nursed. It was just a little baby squirrel, and his mama never came around. We never saw anything.
Yeah.
We fed him with milk through a leaf.
Yeah, we had him for 8 weeks. We actually got a little bottle. We actually had to nurse him. You had to rub his belly to get him to pee because he was so little. But yeah, I named him Singe la Rue, which is the red monkey in French.
That's lovely.
Right? He was
very
so cute.
Lovely.
Looked like a little.
I don't know
monkey.
I can't remember what this one was named. This was a group effort between me and the neighbors. Then he stayed at their house. But,
he lived with us, and what was scary was
my ferrets probably would have ate him.
Oh, dude, if you had ferrets at the same time. So I'm from Boston, where the basement was unfinished, so dirt in the basement, terrifying basement, and I didn't realize how.
Damn, you're a hillbilly.
So this basement literally dirt, and it was an oil heater, old school, have to have every 6 months a big oil truck come through.
We're dealing with that right now because
we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Alexandra's mother has an oil heated house, and we're you need to move.
And the chunk 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 of that when it's crazy and the whole house sounds like it's haunted. Getting the oil through. So I was always scared of the basement with understandable reason. I was 5. It's all dark. There's dirt on the floor that's making demon sounds.
It's literally every movie of a kid going to the boiler room.
It's The Shining thing for a reason.
Yeah.
So I heard this scratching sound in the fucking echoey ass chimney from the basement terrified, but it ended up being Solange Leroux. But like when that little scratching echoes through the house because it's an oil thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I literally rescued this little man. So I think that's a weirder pet than a goat. But I guess they're both.
But here's the thing: is
like
that
normal.
It wasn't
That's a rescue.
full-on pet. Yeah.
It was only a 6-week phase.
Yeah, and it was intent of like releasing it.
And when we did, and I felt great.
What happened with the goat?
Dude,
the
it's
goat
so sad.
real sad. Should we not do the end stories?
Yeah,
It's
the
sad
goat
holiday?
lived happily ever after.
Okay.
And it was great.
Went
Just
up-
like a
went up to
galaxy
a farm-
far, far away, Chewbacca.
He went to the farm upstate New York, just like in
did.
Fables.
Just like in Fables. It was
Except
a good
without
time.
the murders.
We don't talk about the Fables. But yeah, it was a good fight. But also, in regards to Robin, I finally got to see Robin. I know you guys have seen each other, but since March, Robin and I have been trying to hang out, and we went to my buddy Mark Ellis's comedy show, and I got to hang out with Robin after. So
Lovely.
it's very good to see Robin after literally 9 months of my being the worst texter ever.
Well, very, very nice to hear from you. Thanks for calling, Robin. Hope you have a very fantastic holiday season, and get a pygmy goat.
Get a pygmy goat. They're great. They're genuinely great pets. Slept in my bed with me. Great guy.
Hello, Coy, producer Jake. This is Jared from Louisiana. It has been a spell since my last call, and I have a question for you. I hope this makes the cut of the next Heavy Hotline episode, but my question goes as follows. Between the two of you, because it is the holiday season, and in the spirit of friendship, what 5 to 7 comic book characters would you invite to your Friendsgiving? Now, the only parameters I have on this question is they have to be humanoid, whether it be an alien like Superman or Martian Manhunter or one of the characters from Saga or your average everyday run-of-the-mill hero like Batman or Wonder Woman, humanoid. Maybe a pet or a companion, a la Land Shark with Deadpool or Lion Cat, calling back to Saga, but yes, 5 to 7 characters invited to your Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving celebration. Have a nice day. Stay sweaty.
All right. So who are we? So you and I are hosting a holiday dinner.
Yes.
All right.
7 each?
No. Collectively.
7 collectively. Okay.
So who are we bringing to who are the 7 people we're inviting to our holiday dinner and why? So the first name that comes to me, but it might be a double-edged sword. So we might have to find someone else with similar. It's the first name that comes to mind is Reed Richards because who's better at passing shit around a table?
Sold. I like it.
But he's going to be an exhausting conversation.
You know what? We can do better because he's going to be distracted. He's going to be a nuisance. He's going to be like, talking about science.
Yeah, he's
Plastic Man.
See, I was thinking, but he also might be like a bit much, though.
He's a lot.
So the other thing I have is...
What about Sue? She can hand around with invisible, like, she can fucking... Sue Storm, his wife.
No, yeah, but I don't want someone invisible wandering around. That's not helpful.
Yeah, but she can, like, push things around. Like, she can lift...
Oh,
you know what
with,
I mean?
like...
She can...
Okay, so I guess in that
she
instance...
can plate things.
I guess in that instance, anybody with telepathy would also be great, too.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I feel like Sue Storm is like also very like good at hosting. Like she's very friendly and she's like knows how to handle like 10 family members.
She's pretty hot.
Pretty hot.
Might cause some distractions for the holidays.
I mean, who isn't?
I mean, all right. So I mean, I think you might be right. Plastic Man it's just listen. He's a staple of our program.
We love him.
I mean, maybe we just screwed the justice and we just have to figure out who are the staples of our program, who deserves to be invited to our Friendsgiving
after a year of X-Men
because of this. Because of this.
Which X-Men are coming to Thanksgiving? The Koi Cast theme continues on. Hey, you know what? It's actually our first 3 names. No X-Men.
Plastic Man. All right. Well, I think Plastic Man is our first one.
Okay, Plastic Man's in.
Is anybody that can help with cooking in case stuff goes wrong?
Well, I was thinking like who would be great at like carving the turkey Wolverine.
Is he gonna be good
He's
though?
got fucking schnick.
Yeah, but it's just gonna be shredded. He's gonna go all berserker mode on it.
I mean, only if we get him mad. He's also very good at
he's only gonna be able to cut anything into 3 slices.
3 slices for all of us. That's just and everything's exactly a fist width.
I'm going to ban X-Men.
Okay, no X. Oh, wow. All right, it's gonna be hard then. Who's gonna be?
But I'd like the idea of somebody who can carve and serve in that way. I mean, I'm trying to think who else is like really handy with the knives. There's plenty of them.
That's true. Deadpool for one.
He deserves for you. You deserve to deserve your.
Who's gonna be better at carving? And who's going to be better at distracting Plastic Man than Deadpool? We have the 2 most obnoxious.
Yeah.
This is a rough dinner.
We probably need to calm this down.
Let's take it down a notch.
Who else would be really fun to invite to dinner?
I feel like Human Torch would be good at like making sure everything's the right temperature, like reheating stuff.
That's not. You're not wrong.
It's the most sarcastic meal ever.
Yeah, this might be. I might not enjoy this. I might have to leave.
I think I'm having a great time, but I think Jake is.
Yeah, because you're just inviting more of you.
Yeah, so far 3 me's are having a good time. Okay, so those are my 3. Let's make sure you get some in there. Your turn.
Christ.
Let's have some peaceful cynics.
Human Torch, Plastic Man, Deadpool. Oh, how depressing is this?
No, it's a lively dinner.
All right.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh boy. Let's see here. Other comic book characters that would be good to invite to a lovely Thanksgiving dinner. I'm trying to think. Everybody I think of is also thinking of a lot of foreigners. I'm like, oh wait, should they celebrate? Oh, he did say aliens are allowed. I mean, if Superman is allowed, Martian is allowed.
Welcome.
Then like they would own it. It doesn't matter that we're celebrating.
We can do some traditions.
Yeah, screw that shit. Okay.
Deadpool's Canadian. I don't even know if he has.
That's a good point. He is not going to be able to do shit. Although he's probably very good at carving stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. He's
all
good
the angles. All
he's
the
good
knives.
with the meats.
Also, he's got pouches. Who knows? I imagine
he's just keeping like salt
seasonings.
And yeah, exactly.
There's actually a running joke that he keeps different like Mexican toppings in his pouches. That way, when he eats, the food's not boring.
Okay,
which I respect.
All right, I like that.
He's ready.
I'm gonna go. I mean, should we have a lantern? Ooh. I feel like a lantern's going to be very helpful and enjoyable on Thanksgiving because it's like pretty much anything you're missing. It's like, oh shit,
imagination.
I forgot tablecloths.
Yeah, you got them. They're green. I hope you like green.
Yeah, and honestly, green is a lovely cut, especially because we'll decorate everything with like oranges and yellows. So the green will make it look like that forest that we love.
I like that. I like which one?
I mean, we already have so many obnoxious people here. Do I really want to put Hal out there?
I mean, Hal's just stoic. I feel like he'd be like kind of I think he'd be too much of a downer.
Right. That's kind of what I mean.
What about Jon Stewart?
Yes.
Jon Stewart. I feel like he's also going to be like the leader we need to tolerate, like to get the other 3 in line.
Oh, also I think we need to have Thor.
Just to yell
the jovial nature.
Yeah, the uncle, the crazy uncle in the corner.
We need the crazy Uncle Thor.
Crazy Uncle Thor is definitely keeping stories going. The meat and stories flow with Thor.
Yeah, well, that's 5. He did say that, like, you know, do we want to have? I mean, listen, we know that Chewie the pygmy goat's going to be there. We got Campfire Jones. We got Chiquito the ferret's going to be there.
Sange LaRue, the fucking red squirrel.
Yeah. We should have some other people to bring their friends. Right, Landshark. We already have Deadpool.
Yeah,
so Landshark is coming.
100%. Lockjaw should be there. Any nuisances.
I mean, we could just involve Black Bolt. He will. Great listener.
Oh my god, the best listener. Every story we just put him in there.
In fact, we need him because we have so many fucking talkers.
Yes.
So Black Bolt brings Lockjaw.
Yeah. I like this. We have no women at this dinner.
Oh, we're so sexist.
I just realized there are 0 women at this dinner.
Yo, we're having a bros giving.
Yo, guys, we're just the guys. Just fucking dudes talking about steaks.
Well, we only have one more to fit his 7. So let's make this lady
patient.
Wow, you made it even more sexist. Like, let's find a woman who just keeps her mouth shut and knows her place.
I bet you'd have to deal with all this.
Someone who doesn't take up space
in the kitchen.
Someone who's just really forgettable.
Bet you'd have to tolerate this.
Yeah, I know. You were like, Sue Storm, she's a great host.
She would be.
Yeah, we see where you're.
Okay, Marvel's first family. What woman's going to be better at tolerating the insanity of a Thanksgiving meal than Sue Storm? I'm not wrong. She's going to deal with Reed and Namor. She's an incredible host.
Oh, shit, we should have had Namor.
More dudes in the pool.
All right. For the lady, I'm going Spider-Woman.
Jessica Drew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's not what you're talking about. And an equal balance.
Of ridiculous energy.
Yes, has an energy.
Yep.
But also you could probably but late at night when everybody's full and having dessert, like you could probably get into like a nice deep conversation with her
100%.
about where you're going in life
and like where she's been.
Yeah.
Like her life experience is very full.
Yeah. I think we nailed that.
Guys, Jessica Drew.
Also,
she could
thanks for coming to Bros
all
Giving.
The dudes. Yeah, I feel like of anyone, Jessica Drew could be like, all right, this is fine. She'd tolerate this crap.
Another successful assembly of characters.
Oh yeah, no X-Men.
I love that people still call with these sorts of things.
Like they don't as
if they're getting better.
As if they've changed it all. Hey, but us making our own no X-Men rule, that's bold.
Also, I just want to say, Jared from Louisiana, always good to hear from you.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if it's just like the smooth Louisianan dialect, But he
So calming.
always sounds like like the way he says, like, it's been a spell. I feel like he's like a 90-year-old man.
I love that he just sounds so cool at all times. Like he's just comfortable. Like there's just like this effortlessness of awesome.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hi, Coy. Hi, Jake. It's Duger13, and I just wanted to place a quick call to wish you both and all of the CoyCast listeners a very merry season and best wishes for a healthy and happy 2023. Oh, hold on. I'm driving in the car, and my passenger wants to say a quick hello. Coy, Jake, it's me, Vito Pepitone, lead singer of Deep August. You guys did such a great job of promoting us this year, and our gigs have been profuse and in abundance. We're currently sitting in traffic on the Southern State Parkway on Long Island on our way to the Roslyn Heights Kiwanis Club for a gig. And then are playing a holiday office party tonight for the janitorial staff at Stony Brook University. Sales of our Christmas album, Xmas in August, are picking up. Which reminds me that with you guys taking a well-deserved holiday break, Duger and I won't have anything to listen to in our car rides. So we'll have a blue Christmas without you. Hey, Vito, that was a pretty good Elvis impression. That wasn't an Elvis impression, you numbnuts. That was my Austin Butler impression. What's wrong with you? Love that movie. Coy knows what I'm talking about. And not to quote the succulent artist Rihanna or anything, Duger, but shut up and drive. Anyway, that's it from old Vito. Remember, even Santa knows that the summer snow up at the North Pole is deep in August. Love you guys. Happy everything. And thanks for all that you do. Bye-bye.
Oh,
What a
Duger.
delight.
All right, a few things here. One, I still find this impression of Long Islanders offensive and frustratingly accurate.
Both can be true.
The fact that he said numbnuts, I call Alexandra and people in my family numbnuts all the time.
I just love that Deep August is doing so well.
Also, I'm glad to hear that you're performing for the janitorial staff at Stony Brook. Go Seawolves. Love that school. Did many a play there. And this was a delight. Duger13, thank you so much for this. Also, before we forget, Duger was the unpunchable gift horse in October. And we got an email from him that I'm not going to read it in its entirety because I don't know whether he expected me to read it in its entirety, but, he wrote, that, let's see here. Oh, first he said nice stuff. He says, thank you both for continued hard work, commentary, insights, humor, wit, and weekly fun with your patrons and the entire Koi Pond, Koi Cast community. You're both great at what you do, and you are appreciated. So thank you. Well, that's very kind of you. He says, is it too late to send in a submission for my October unpunchable screening?
We got you. I think that's timeless.
He does say that he had a lot of hard time during the month. It was a rough 6 weeks. He had some illness. He had some family stuff, and it just really, really sweet. Very, very, very kind. And I want to go on and state that he says, after giving a lot of thought and after hearing the Hometown Flicks episode from a couple weeks ago, I decided that my choice should be the 2017 movie Pottersville that was filmed here in my town. Full disclosure, this movie, in my opinion, is quite possibly the most bizarre movie starring a stacked A and B list cast of great actors that I've ever seen. Michael Shannon, Judy Greer, Ron Perlman, Ian McShane, Christina Hendricks, Thomas Lennon, Michael Torpy. It is sort of an unfathomable to me how they all signed on for this movie. The rumor and buzz in our tiny central New York college town had been that this was a quaint holiday movie being filmed in the spirit of It's a Wonderful Life, focused on a tiny town that has come on hard times, thus Pottersville. But instead, it ended up being an off-the-rails comedic what the fuck featuring reality TV Bigfoot hunters and an underground community of furries. That's right, furries.
This sounds like drugs. I'm in.
So he goes on to explain a couple things. Michael Shannon was frequently seen chain smoking and sitting at a hotel nearby. Judy Greer was adorable as ever, and I passed her one Sunday afternoon just out for an afternoon stroll in the new fallen snow and soaking up our historic and gorgeous campus and the small town charm. Pottersville tends to be a seasonal watch for everybody in our town, and even with my family.
I've never heard of this. I'm so excited.
So since it is the holiday season,
perfect.
This worked out well. We will watch this. Obviously, we haven't seen it yet. We're just hearing this now. We will add this to our list, and in the new year, it'll be on one of our Patreon-only pods. So thanks, Duger. Sorry about the hard times. Glad you're on the other end of it. And we will definitely honor your unpunchable.
Very excited to do this, especially Michael Shannon and Ron Perlman in one movie.
The whole cast, Tom Lennon and freaking Greer. I mean, this is incredible.
I met Ron Perlman for the first time last week, and like I don't know if I've ever seen someone who was exterior and interior differ more. I love he's such a teddy bear.
Yeah,
fascinating.
I was on a plane with him once, and I watched him go through security. Like I was two people behind him. The entire time I was like, it's fucking mine. And watching him talk to people, and I feel bad for that dude because he can't talk without everybody going, what?
He's so specific.
That voice is just it's so boomy.
And his eyes are so blue. I interviewed him on stage, so I have direct, into those soul holes. So intense. Great guy.
But anyways, thanks for the call, Duger. Thanks for the call, Pepitone.
Deep August for life.
Good luck.
Hey, Coy. Saw on Twitter that you knew Jason David Frank, and just was curious if you had any good stories that you wanted to share from meeting him, if it's not too painful. Have a good day. Take care of your mental health. Let your loved ones know you love them. Bye.
I completely agree. I used to really shy away from any even discussions of mental health, and I think that's a very American stigma, especially white male 20s 30s stigma. And so I have definitely taken it upon myself to be more vocal about it, to try to encourage people. I will completely I'm currently, as we speak, in therapy, psychiatry, and physical therapy. Your boy's got all them P's, and it's been very helpful and very important. I think when you are in the public eye of any scale, the amount of just vitriol you receive is not human. It's not normal. It's actually one of my big therapy epiphanies was, I was talking to my therapist and I was describing the amount of crap I just see and then the amount I receive. And one of my other friends had written this long, lengthy thing about being cyberbullied. And my first instinct was yeah, that's life. And then I was whoa, my instinct was to say it's not a big deal instead of acknowledging that it's painful. And when you're in the fandom space, it's really hard because, people have expectations of you if you're actually in it. I comment on it. I'm talking about Jason here. You're in the space, and he was an icon for, 30 years. So I have a number of great stories through the cons because that guy was one of the fixtures of Comic-Con. Big cons, small cons, bookstore openings, guy was everywhere. And I'm trying to think of a highlight because honestly, when I looked at con schedules, there's certain people that you're oh, I'm going to see them. That's going to mean blank. And he was the rare nerd bro with me. So whenever I'd see on a con list that he was at a thing, I knew I could count on finding him at the gym early in the morning. And I remember one of the first times I met him, he always wore a suit on the floor, or almost always. A suit was his thing when he was working. But he always was really incognito and wore sweats or stuff that was really good for the gym, but he looked like a different person. So, guys covered in tattoos in tracksuit or sweats and stuff in the very same elevator, you'll run into him in a suit later. And I didn't really know him. One of the first times I saw him wearing a sweatsuit going to the gym. And I remember just thinking holy shit, that's the Green Ranger of my childhood. He's going to the gym. And I was going to the gym too. And I remember my entire childhood, I was obsessed with Power Rangers to the point where I once waited 4 hours in line to meet the Red Ranger that was actually just a guy in an oversized bubblehead suit.
Oh, no.
One of those cheap ones. I waited 4 hours and then it wasn't, it was just a guy. It was a dude. And I was maybe 11, but I was smart enough to be fuck. And I remember being excited but disappointed. That was one of my earliest oh, this is what this can feel like moments.
Right.
And then I went in the elevator with the real Green Ranger and this real guy's going to the gym with me. So we go to the gym, and then it's one of the cons that I'm actually going to be interviewing him at later. And it was really funny seeing him and I didn't talk to him, I didn't bug him. He clearly had headphones on, I was going to the gym. I'm not going to talk to dude at 6 a.m.
Right.
But later, when I'm interviewing him, he recognized me as one of the only other guys getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym. And there was this immediate respect, this immediate nerd brodom where we're yeah, we're here to talk about comics, but we also went to the gym this morning.
Well, we got swole together.
But bro, did we get a pump on first? So there was always this mutual...
I hate everything about this.
I know you would.
I'm joking.
So ever since that moment, it was really cool because we both had this nod. We both had this Got you. So anytime I was like really stressed out with too many panels, he's a guy that I could talk to in the green room. Anytime, there was a lot of stress or something went wrong, he was a guy that had like a very martial arts sensibility about like staying calm, staying focused, knowing what mattered. And he was the guy that I could count on that if I had the choice of waking up in the morning, I knew he'd be in the gym. I knew he'd be, handling his life. And I never saw him in every con have a bad moment with a fan, and I cannot say that about anyone. Yeah, that is a rare thing.
He's one of those just endlessly giving to the fans sort of people.
To the point his line was 4 times as long because he'd spend time with everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm only impressed with people that take the time after that many years, decades of meeting fans and them saying, and this isn't disrespectful to the fans, but when you meet the same fans for decades and they say largely the same thing,
right.
He never made it seem like he was bored. At no point was he like, here's the flute. He was always at an 11, the 90s.
Yeah.
And the fact that he helped local martial arts schools, the fact that he took the time, a lot of love for Jason David Frank and a lot of love for Nerd Bros. And I think that Nerd Bros are the people that ask your Nerd Bros how they're doing. It's really hard to be.
That's a t-shirt.
I think it's really hard to be someone that identifies with being very, very empathetic. I think a lot of nerds are. And that also identifies with being very, very perceived as masculine and sometimes gets judged for it. I know personally, looking like a Flash Thompson and thinking like a Peter Parker is hard as fuck. So Jason David Frank was one of the guys that I identified with. And his death actually, it hit me a lot harder than I was prepared for, because I didn't realize how much it meant to me that I always had an anchor at cons. He was kind of my eye in the hurricane of the chaos a lot of the time, and he meant a lot to me. So thank you for asking. He's a fucking titan and forever a ranger. That guy. He always cared about people to an 11. And much love, Jason David Frank.
Hey, Koi. Hey, producer Jake. This is Gilbert up in the Bay Area, and I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Holidays to anyone who celebrates whatever. Happy New Year. But I had a question about holiday specials of your favorite shows. I was watching the Christmas special of Ted Lasso with my partner. She's going through the show for the first time, and I wanted to make sure she watched it, and I wanted to watch it with her. And I love the episode, but I also want to know what your guys' favorites are. And also, it was a blast meeting you at Fan Expo, Koi. I hope to meet you again. I hope you like the books I sent you. And if you haven't already, could you share the story about when you were doing the Ming-Na Wen panel and the girl from Turning Red? If it's already been mentioned, I apologize. Continue. But that was one of my favorite things to happen during all of Fan Expo, and I think you really enjoyed it too, and it was a part of your day. It was an experience of yours. So I want to hear it from your perspective, because you looked like you were, nervous, and you were witnessing this amazing moment. But and once again, happy holidays to everyone, and hope to see you in the new year, 2023, guys. What the hell, man? All right, have a good week and stay sweaty.
So the moment in question, then we'll get to his initial question, but the Turning Red moment. And I think next week I'll talk a little bit about Fan Expo if I still have a voice. But Fan Expo, this was definitely a highlight. The girl who voiced the lead in Turning Red was in the audience because she's from the Bay during my Ming-Na Wen panel, and she went up on the mic and just said how much of an icon and how much Ming-Na Wen meant to her. And it could have ended there. And a lot of times, you'll just have that really beautiful moment where mutual respect, love. But instead, Ming-Na Wen is so gangster. She invited her up on stage. So there's this moment where I'm like, okay, she left her microphone behind. Anytime there's dead air at a con, that's bad news. You cannot have empty sound. But the microphone was on a stand in the middle of the room that's now 20 feet behind her. I and Ming-Na Wen have the microphone. So I immediately go here, take my microphone. But now I'm standing there without a microphone, so I can't really MC. I'm making sure that she's got the mic, and so
you're no longer MCing, you're coordinating.
Exactly.
Yes.
Silently. So they're 5 feet apart on downstage, upstage, and I'm trying to get them to make sure this conversation goes on into the mic. And I'm just overwhelmed with emotion because I see how much it means to each of them. I'm standing 2 feet from Ming-Na Wen, and I see how much this moment means. I'm looking at this girl who's I don't even know how old, going like, you're a huge part of why I'm here. And it's fucking beautiful. But I'm very well aware that this can't be something that I like lose the narrative of. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And so Ming-Na Wen has her come up. They take these really adorable photos together. And then I'm able to like have this isn't the weird thing about hosting is it's never about you. And that's really one of the things I love about it is that like I find in my life, I make so much about me. Like the show's called Koicast. I love controlling the narrative of my experience because I think that like the butterfly effect, everything I experience informs my next thing. I want my life to be public because I want to share my happiness and stuff. But one of the reasons I like hosting, like for example, the Tom Holland Spider-Man trailer release I did, I was so excited to be on stage with Spider-Man. I was so excited to present something I knew that I would kill to be in that room for, and then I was on that stage. But I also loved that my entire job was to make Tom Holland look good, to make that trailer look good. And it's this really interesting thing where I think my flow state, like when I'm out of my head, like I'm super neurotic, I'm pretty anxious, it's loud up here. But when I'm putting the spotlight on someone else, but I'm using my talents to make them look good, I'm not worried about me at all. And I'm worried about me 99% of the time. So it was this really beautiful moment where I'm the least control I could be. I've given up the microphone. It's my job to make sure this goes well.
Right.
But all I care about is them getting this moment. And I got to stand within feet of like, this is one of those clips you see online. You go like, what a moment. And I'm like, there. And I'm just going like, this is so cool for culture. This is so cool for people that feel marginalized. This is so cool. And I just had to go like, okay, remember, you got to pick it back up. It's your job to make sure this moves forward.
Sure, yeah.
So it was really special.
You can't just sit there and enjoy it.
I can't sit and watch this moment. Well, that I'm going
like nudge the person next to you. That was nice.
How crazy is this shit? Like, yeah. So she was an absolute angel. And also, Ming-Na Wen sent me a thank you for that panel, and I have never been more like flabbergasted at an Instagram moment where I was like, that's Ming-Na Wen thanking me for doing the thing, because she's Ming-Na Wen, like she's been an icon since Mulan. Like what a titan. So it was really special, and that whole con, which I might talk a little bit about next week, was really rad. Thank you for coming. It was so rad to meet you. What was the initial first question?
So his question is favorite holiday TV specials or episodes.
Yes.
This is great.
Loaded question.
This is so much fun and just in time for the holidays.
2 episodes of The West Wing jump out.
Okay, let's talk about that because I've never seen that show in its
You've never
entirety.
seen The West Wing?
I saw like the first season.
There's like an episode where President Bartlett calls the Butterball hotline or whatever, like that iconic like thing, and I remember thinking like, oh, this is such a period piece moment, but it's also like it shows the humanity of Bartlett and how important that is for that world.
All right,
and it's kind of like a peace offering. And then there's also one I think it's called like Indian in the Lobby, where it's like talking about the different cultures. There's like Native American people and the dichotomy of like colonizer versus capitalism.
Right.
And I love Aaron Sorkin. He gets a lot of crap, but like I think that man is able to do like what a string quartet does for orchestra. He does with words. Right. I'm always like, I'm feeling so much.
Do you feel like though? Because for me, a Christmas special TV show, you should be able to watch it over and over again without needing to be in the center of anything.
I think those two are
Can you watch just those?
Yeah. Because they do a really good job framing it about Christmas.
Right, yeah.
And as I get older, and to be honest, it's kind of what we've talked about with Burnout, with fandom.
Right.
As I get older, I'm enjoying more of the sincere, earnest human moments. And those 2 episodes, like I think The West Wing is so human. Right. And The West Wing is so good, it makes me believe politics can be good. They can't. Right. But that's the show. Like that's a superhero show. Superman's not real. Neither are all his politicians.
Right.
That show gives me that. So when you can frame politicians around something as wholesome as a holiday and make it bipartisan and make it about all religions, I'm fucking in.
Right. Yeah. For me, a lot come to mind. I love, like, first off, there's some staples. Certain shows that just do Christmas well. Right off the bat, you have to go Office.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally watch any of the Office Christmas episodes.
I agree.
And you are in for a great treat. In fact, every holiday season, Alexander and I just do the Christmas episodes.
Oh, I love that.
And if I'm not mistaken, Peacock caught on. It's probably our doing. We probably the reason it happened. Where I think they now just have a playlist of just the Christmas episodes. So you could just put them on and it just goes from all the Christmas episodes. But Doctor Who. The Doctor Who Christmas specials are one-off specials that are in between seasons usually. And they're generally flawless. Like they're so good.
Yeah.
There are definitely a few that are better than others, but even the bad ones are kind of great.
But I assume you would have to watch the show.
No.
Okay.
Because they're like a lot of that show, they're all kind of, honestly, You watched Don't Blink.
Yeah.
Most of the Christmas episodes are like Don't Blink.
That's what I was wondering.
Most of them are just one-offs.
Dope.
In fact, one of my favorite Matt Smith ones, I think it was their version of the Christmas Carol.
Oh, I love this.
And it was, there's so many good ones. But like, I feel like there's something about Doctor Who. There's something about fantasy. Alexandra and I talk, like, we don't necessarily know why. Maybe it's just because they always take a Christmas break. But like for us, Harry Potter movies or Christmas movies.
Right. I'm very excited. I haven't rewatched the Harry Potters since Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, you said that.
So 15 years. Yeah. I think this is the year.
Right.
Because like I am missing some whimsy.
We do it every
I'm missing it.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
But what I'm saying is like maybe it is the whimsy. There's something like but you know what I mean? Like they feel like Christmas movies kind
100%.
of maybe. So Doctor Who,
except maybe Goblet of Fire,
inherently kind of feels Christmassy.
Yeah.
Because of the old British, like it has like a Dickens-ness to it, right? In fact, in the episode of Christmas Carol, I think they go and they meet Dickens.
Oh, I love this.
Right? So there's that. There's ones that are like, kind of fun humor where there's bad, evil Santa maybe. And there's like all sorts of, there's one where Nick Frost plays Santa. That's very enjoyable. There's just a lot of like really easy to just jump into if you like a sci-fi fantasy adventure, non-committal kind of thing where you can just watch it for the hour and be like, yeah, that was a fun Christmas special.
I was making sure I didn't have a fever dream about this. This is real. There's a Luther Christmas special, and it's very similar to that. That is fucking awesome.
Luther?
Idris Elba's Luther.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Oh, it's a BB. I've seen a British show that you haven't.
Yeah.
Luther is Idris Elba, and I think it's
you know what? Now that you say that, I've seen the posters and I've seen like the ad. Like I've scrolled past
you've acknowledged it. It's the best Batman show ever.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because he's a detective and it's like villain of the week shit. And It's crazy. They have a Christmas special that's like this Doctor Who thing where it's a one-off and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like stuff like that is kind of prime for Christmas.
Really special.
It's great. There's
Slapsgiving, How I Met Your Mother.
There's a ton. I didn't think about that one, but that's good too.
It's a solid one.
There's sitcoms. There's a bevy of them.
The Friends.
The Office is great, but I think when it comes to the Friends, the Holiday Armadillo.
Oh my God, with the turkey on the head.
Holiday Armadillo might be the best.
I think it's the best.
Might be the best of all the sitcoms. But then there's also A Very Sunny Christmas.
I have not seen.
I actually own the DVD of that. So there's a few of these that are like staples.
Is it a movie length or is it?
It's a little bit longer than, I think it might be an hour.
Okay.
Right. But it's a hefty episode. It's its own DVD. It came with its own DVD. And it is so good. It is exactly what you want in the way that it tricks you into feeling an earnest Christmas.
Yes.
The way that a Christmas thing should.
Yes.
And then it also is an Always Sunny episode. If you've never seen it, I should just lend it to you.
Right now, I would love that. Like Mythic Quest has my jam.
So A Very Sunny Christmas is definitely on the short list. And if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest. I wonder if it's on Hulu. Like I'm wondering if it's mixed in with wherever their episodes are streaming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up really quick.
Because either way, like I've been on a Rob McElhenney binge. That dude's like such a genius. Like I really thought I loved the character of Mac because I could identify with him, but now that like Mythic Quest is out, I'm like, no, Rob McElhenney's just a fucking genius.
So it turns out that A Very Sunny Christmas, because I just saw that it said part 1. Maybe it was broken up into episodes,
and then
that was
the
why the
DVD
DVDs.
is here.
But all I am seeing, to be honest with you, is like the special. Like watch the episode of this, like it would be a movie.
Cool.
I'm not seeing it anywhere streaming for free. I think you.
Oh,
like what I'm saying.
So
is
it's not part of the season.
It doesn't come with a season, no. But it probably aired on television in specials. Is what I'm getting at, like in episodes.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's. But honestly, it's worth the rent. Rent it on Amazon or rent it on Vudu. It's really, really funny. A Very Sunny Christmas, and it's like it feels. It's one of those specials that ups the. Like I felt that way about Ted Lasso that he's talking about, where it's like Ted Lasso is a really big budget single cam show,
but that's a great episode.
But like, well, what I'm trying to get at is like the Christmas special still somehow feels more like a movie, than even though like the style, the visual of it doesn't really change.
But it's like a bottle episode with a certain heart. It's not just you know what I mean. Like it's its own isolated thing, but with the spirit of Christmas. I remember there being a MASH episode I really liked. It was like a MASH episode of Christmas.
I don't remember. I'm sure there was tons of them. I'm sure there was one every year. That was
because that was the show.
Because there was an episode 52 weeks of the year. Do you know what I mean? Like this is back
they kind of had to.
Yeah.
And that show lasted longer than the war it was about, so I'm sure they had to sprinkle some stuff in there.
There's one other Christmas staple that I love so very much that I've rewatched many times throughout my life. I have it on my collection DVDs as well as
Star Wars Christmas.
No, way better than that. I have it on the collection DVDs, but it also might be available now on Paramount Plus. I'm going to look that up. Beavis and Butthead do Christmas.
I knew this was coming.
Beavis and Butthead's Christmas specials.
I sensed it.
So there was a few Christmas specials, but I think when they finally called it, after Do America came out, they did the Do, like that, everything was Do something, right? Like the new ones Do the Universe. So they did Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas, which I think was like the second or third special.
Okay.
And it's a series, it's just like a big long episode in the sense that there's like still other episodes in it. But they also do these fun specials where they answer letters to like Santa Butthead. And like Beavis is dressed as a reindeer and he's like whipping him.
Amazing.
And he's in a giant sleigh reading letters from fake kids writing Beavis and Butthead. And it's so goddamn funny. But then they also do a Christmas Carol for Beavis.
Of course.
And the best part of the ghost of like, I can remember it so vividly. Like the ghosts all come and it's the ghost of Christmas past, I think is Van Driesen, the teacher.
Yeah.
And who shows him like how happy his childhood was when he was young Beavis. And then the present, I think, is the neighbor, the guy who it's the same voice as Mr. Hill, as Hank Hill. God damn it, them boys in my yard. I think his name was Anderson, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But then Butthead is future, and he goes into the future, and the big thing. This is ingrained in my memory. It's so goddamn funny to me, and it's so stupid. This is why I love this fucking show. Is he shows him his grave.
Okay.
He shows him, and his grave just says, "Here lies Beavis. He never scored." and I like have a vision in my head of like Beavis laying over it with rain, crying, like it's a Batman animated episode, and just like it's so funny and so good, and it holds up. Like I rewatch it, and also it's great because I think they also throw in because they do music videos. They throw in like Run DMC's
nice.
Christmas in Holland, like all those things, like Hollis, rather Christmas in Hollis.
Was there a Batman the Animated Series Christmas special where
there had to be
where Batmobile lost a wheel and Joker got away? Like, did they animate that?
I don't know that part. I know that there were definitely Christmas ones.
Was that Jingle Bell Batman Smells? Like that's like a bop. Like that's like one of the most iconic.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
I wonder if they ever did that. Did Mark Hamill voice the Joker getting away?
Did they do it like tongue in cheek?
Yeah. Like because I can remember it, but I also don't know if that's like Mandela effect of hearing the song so many times.
Let's see. Batman animated Christmas. So there's Christmas with the Joker from 1992.
I mean, that's where I'd put that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's I don't remember it necessarily, but maybe.
Also, have you seen the holiday special for Guardians yet?
We watched the Guardians holiday special.
This would make the list for me.
You know what? You're not wrong.
It's special.
It's
fucking great.
It's really good. I was a little bit worried when it started.
Yep.
And then I went, no, this is perfect.
I'm very heartwarmed.
I was a little bit worried because I thought like, no, they're going to do too much. I felt like, we were advancing too much plot here.
Yeah, like this is moving too fast.
Where I was just like, oh wait, this feels like, no, like do this in a movie.
Yeah.
But then they just went on a fucking adventure and I was like, this is so perfect.
It was so heartwarming. The end, I was just like,
I love Uncle Kevin so much.
Yep.
And that's on the short list.
That's on the short list for me too. I'm actually excited to watch it again.
What are some other really great Christmas specials? I'm sure there's a lot that we're missing.
Boy Meets World had great Thanksgiving Christmas specials.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of the best are probably in those sitcoms, like
TGIF era.
I guarantee you, there's like a great Family Matters,
probably like a Hey Arnold that was dope.
What?
Remember?
Is that kid with the football head?
Yeah, football head.
I never watched it. I was too old. I was too old for Hey Arnold.
This is the generation gap.
Were there any like good like kids cartoons that had Christmas specials? They were probably all kind of corny.
Rugrats probably did,
but did they? I feel like they probably wouldn't hold up for an adult. Not. In the way that like a sitcom does. Right. Well, yeah, a sitcom is like Boy Meets World borders.
Right. Agreed.
Where there's like enough there for an adult. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure that there's a ton of genre shit that we're missing. People are yelling at us, going,
100%.
Going like, "There's a great episode of Supernatural," or like that kind of stuff,
Buffy
like
or something.
There's always some great monster thing.
Yeah, but we just covered the ones we love.
Yeah, I got to say, like the short list, Friends definitely.
Yep.
Always Sunny, Ted Lasso, as you said, Beavis and Butthead, and now Guardians for sure.
Yeah, those are highlight reels for sure.
I love them.
Great question for the Holly Jolly season. That's what a great last question of the hotline.
Yeah, great question for the year. Once again, we really appreciate everybody who takes the time out of their day to call, give us an opinion, a question, a thought, an experience. The hotline is one of my favorite things about the show because it makes sure that this podcast is actually a community and not just more schmucks who think people give a shit about their opinion doing a podcast,
which we expect of you as well.
It's about cultivating a community, and
that's really important.
I love, jumping onto the Discord and continuing conversations and people answering the questions, other listeners answering other listeners' questions on Discord.
List some of your favorites in the Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of that as we get into the holiday season here, and we go, what did you guys watch?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the when we get back doing the Letterboxd Plus, doing all of our the big old patron pod of the 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be nice. I'm so excited to watch TV and movies. This is gonna do it for this. I literally have been so busy. I haven't had time to sit and watch any of my usual holiday stuff yet. But please do rate and review this very program on Apple Podcasts. You can also rate it on Spotify. Check out koicast.com for merch. We got shirts, we got mugs, we got masks. You're listening to this right before Christmas, but you can maybe get a rush shipment, maybe, of any of those things for your favorite Koicast listener this holiday season. Check us out on social media. I'm at Coy Jandro. He's at Jake Lloyd Bacon. You can use hashtag Koicast to get our attention. You can call us at 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722, or send a voice memo to contact@koicast.com. Anything you want to say about this here Dragon Wagon situation?
I absolutely do. It is that time of the year, the season of giving, and it's around this time that I like to urge all of our listeners to visit a website, dragonwagonradio.com/support. You can also just go to koicast.com, and the support is also there. You just can't go directly to it. You can't do the /, but you guys get it. It's all the same website. dragonwagonradio.com/support. There, watch this brief video that's up there. You'll see me. I look lovely with my long hair before I lobbed it all off. It's beautiful. It's coiffed. I look
so
like
lush.
Fabio. It's fantastic. So watch this video in which you will hear me give a little backstory to Dragon Wagon Radio. What exactly is Dragon Wagon Radio? Why it exists, how it exists, and how you can help ensure it continues to exist. There are a lot of great ways to show your support this holiday season, and you can learn all about them at dragonwagonradio.com/support.
Also, if, and I have not cleared this by Jake, so we might edit this out. We'll find out. If you want to support any of our local comic book shops or the Iliad bookstore, which we recently went through some crap,
right?
You could call them up and get a gift certificate for us if you want to support us directly that way.
Do we talk about the Iliad?
I don't think so.
We were there that day.
What?
We did. We had no idea. We went to the Iliad just to go shopping, and we pulled up, and there was cameras everywhere, and we went, "Oh, it's closed. They must be filming."
Fuck.
We thought they were making a movie or something.
Yeah.
And then we got home
and
Alexander's like, "Oh my God, the Iliad was on fire," and we didn't even notice
the fire,
that the door was just completely charred. We walked right by it, dude, but we were distracted by cameras and stuff.
Right.
And by the way, we walked past people who didn't say "Oh, it's closed" or "Oh, this happened." And everybody was kind of somber.
Wow.
And by the way, context, local people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" An arson tried to set fire to an iconic, legendary, incredible used bookstore that's here in the Valley in Los Angeles that we've talked about a few times. It's the spot that I go to buy graphic novels now.
Yeah.
It's arguably the only place I go to buy graphic novels now. They're an incredible used bookstore.
And they left some hate speech on the fucking door like assholes.
Yeah, they left flyers all around the whole building. And yeah, they set the door on fire using the free books that the Iliad leaves outside for anybody to come take. Because
that's how great this bookstore is now. Fuck these people.
They have piles of free books. So anyway, go to the Iliad. I think it's iliadbookshop.com. Mm-hmm. I feel like we should give that out too.
But what I was thinking is, if you want to gift us anything in the vein of comic books or books, I shop at Golden Apple and House of Secrets in Burbank. We both also shop at the Iliad. I think Jake shops at Earth 2. What's your bookstore?
No, it was also it's not anymore, but the Burbank on Olive.
That's House of Secrets.
House of Secrets. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. House of Secrets. But now I'm closer to. Haven't been there yet. Looking forward to going. I'm much closer to Pulp Fiction Comics. Have you been there?
I've not.
I looked at the images. It looks huge.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to going to Pulp Fiction. Alexandra says that she has been there because she used to live in that area.
Yeah.
So that's the new closest shop.
So all you need to do is if you want to get a gift card for us, you could just email us at contact@koicast.com. That way you're supporting something local as well as supporting us. And then the Iliad's a great option too.
Iliadbooks.com.
Iliadbooks.com. So just if you want to, no pressure. I just thought that'd be a nice
or honestly, buy your own shit from there this holiday season and have it shipped.
Yeah. Because they could use the help, and I always like to support local when I can. So just a little idea.
Yep. In 2015, they won Best of LA in used graphic novels. In 2019, Best Bookstore Escape. Iliad is outstanding.
So check those out, and that's another idea for the Holly Jolly season.
I was just gonna do the thing where I say, like, that's kind of it for the primary Koicast for the year.
Yeah.
We may or may not still be here next week yapping.
We might just talk. We might not. I'm very tired. But either way, it's been a lovely year. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being the community we need in these trying times. I have never met a Koicast listener I didn't like, and that means the world that you guys are here and you're with us. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. We'll see you soon.
In today's technological age, we have all the world's information at our fingertips. All of known science, pop culture, and world events happening live in HD in the palm of our hands. Yet, misinformation and easily disprovable conspiracy theories still run rampant in today's society. So imagine how easy it would be for a mistruth, for actual fake news, to gain traction and become accepted as reality to the world, say, 400 years ago. I'm speaking specifically of the first folio of the works of a writer who signed his name as Shakespeare. Printed in 1623 and attributed to a long-dead grain dealer who lived 100 miles away from London, named Shakespeare. It sounds similar enough a name, I suppose. And it's a lovely story about an artist with humble beginnings who rises to fame as the greatest writer of all time. But is it a fact, or is it widespread fiction? Join me, I'm Stephen Sable, as I invite historians, researchers, lawyers, artists, authors, and more to use all the information we have available today to explore this fascinating mystery of Shakespeare authorship on my podcast, Don't Quill the Messenger. You can hear it now at don'tquillthepodcast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
It's Dragon Wagon.